The Formula One driver market is always unpredictable. But right now, Aston Martin is at the center of a storm that could reshape its identity. Fernando Alonso, the veteran who has carried the team since 2023, has openly admitted that retirement could be on the cards after 2026. At 44, his wisdom and adaptability remain unmatched. But even legends eventually reach their final chapter. That looming decision leaves Aston Martin scrambling for answers, and one name keeps appearing: Yuki Tsunoda. At the same time, Tsunoda himself is trapped in an uncertain position. Promoted to Red Bull earlier this season, he has failed to deliver consistent performances, with rumours already suggesting that Ishak Hadjar will take his seat in 2026. If that happens, Tsunoda could be left without a place on the grid unless Aston Martin steps in. And with Honda's engine partnership just around the corner, the timing could be more than coincidence. This is why you'll want to stick with me through this video, because what's happening behind the scenes could change everything. And before we dive deeper, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on these crucial updates, because this is where Formula One's future may already be taking shape. Aston Martin's response to the Yuki Tsunoda rumours may have seemed like a standard press release, but when read carefully, it reveals far more than the team likely intended. Their statement that both Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll are contracted until the end of 2026 was less about reassurance and more about buying time. Because behind the scenes, Aston Martin faces a looming crisis. The loss of Fernando Alonso, the driver who almost single-handedly elevated their project, while at the same time preparing for a massive shift in identity with Honda's return to Formula One. Let's start with Alonso. Since joining in 2023, the Spaniard has been the cornerstone of Aston Martin's progress. His racecraft, development skills, and ability to drag results out of an inconsistent car have been the difference between midfield anonymity and podium contention. Yet, Alonso himself has hinted more than once that 2026, the start of Formula One's new engine regulations, could be his final season. And this is where the dilemma emerges. If Aston Martin builds a strong car with Honda power, Alonso could see that as the perfect farewell, bowing out not in frustration, but on a high, leaving behind a team ready to fight. But if the car under-delivers, he may not even wait that long. For Aston Martin, that means they must prepare for life after Alonso sooner rather than later. Then there's Lance Stroll. His position in the team is complex. On paper, his seat is secure. He is, after all, the son of team owner Lance Stroll. But Formula One is not a sport that forgives sentimentality. If Aston Martin truly wants to step into the elite tier and challenge Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren consistently, they cannot afford to rely on a driver who has never proven himself as a team leader or race winner. Stroll's performances have been steady at best, but rarely race-defining. Compare that to what Aston Martin will lose when Alonso leaves: a wealth of experience, unmatched adaptability to regulation changes, and the mental strength to thrive under pressure. Simply put, the gap is enormous, and it must be filled. Enter Yuki Tsunoda. On the surface, his career trajectory doesn't scream future Aston Martin leader. Promoted to Red Bull earlier this year after Liam Lawson's short-lived stint, Tsunoda has failed to consistently impress. 15 races in, he has scored points in only 5. At times, his raw pace has been clear. His 6th-place finish in Baku stands out, but inconsistency has haunted him. Too many races have slipped through his fingers, either from poor qualifying, mistakes in battle, or simply being outpaced by rivals in machinery that should not have been a threat. If we look purely at performance, Tsunoda's future at Red Bull looks bleak, with Ishak Hadjar tipped to replace him for 2026. The Japanese driver is on the brink of being cast aside. But here's where politics reshapes the narrative. Tsunoda has always been seen as Honda's man. Christian Horner and Helmut Marko may have tolerated his presence, but his career has been built on Honda's backing. Now, with Red Bull transitioning to its own powertrains project in collaboration with Ford, Honda's influence over Red Bull is ending. That means Honda needs a new showcase, a new driver to carry its identity in Formula One. And with Aston Martin becoming Honda's exclusive partner in 2026, the pieces suddenly fit together. It's no coincidence that rumors of Tsunoda moving to Aston Martin have exploded just as Alonso hints at retirement. From Honda's perspective, it's a perfect marriage. Their engine, their branding, and their driver all in one team. From Aston Martin's side, the appeal is more complicated. Formula One history is full of similar crossroads. Remember when McLaren and Honda clashed over driver choices in the Alonso-Button era, or when Red Bull reluctantly promoted Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon to keep their junior pipeline alive? These moments can define entire partnerships. Aston Martin knows this, and it explains the deliberately vague wording of their statement. The wider driving squad for next year will be announced in due course. In other words, they're buying time while negotiating a delicate balance between performance and politics. So, what does this all mean for Tsunoda? His F1 career hangs by a thread, but paradoxically, this could also be his lifeline. If Honda insists, Aston Martin may give him the chance to reinvent himself. If he can rise to the challenge, adapt to a top-team environment, and shed his reputation for inconsistency, Tsunoda could extend his career well beyond what many expect. If not, this might be his last meaningful opportunity in Formula One. So, here's the big question. Is Aston Martin really preparing to bring Yuki Tsunoda into their 2026 project? Or is this just Honda's influence creating smoke where there's no fire? And if Alonso does retire, who should Aston Martin trust with the keys to their future? Tsunoda, Stroll, or perhaps a completely new face? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss any of the latest and most exciting Formula One stories right here on this channel.